Things changed when I moved from Kansas City to Indianapolis. In Kansas City, I had lots of people who would assist with my mom if I had to go to work. She went to daycare. If I had to go out of town, I would pay someone to come and stay with her. But again, like I said, I was working full time. I was I was an administrator. And so because I was an administrator, I had lots of work to do where I was, really, really needed to do things at really high levels. And I just, again, felt like I could do it all. And I think if someone could have told me, you don't have to do it all. Like there are things that you can ask for help about. And so when I moved to Indianapolis and SECOA came in, and SECOA helped with Boost. They help with diapers. They help with getting a caregiver that could stay in the home if we needed. My sister, I moved in with my sister, and so that helped. So I didn't have to go to dialysis and sit with my mom all by myself. And so in your mind, that is your mother. My mother could sew, she could cook, she raised children, she raised grandchildren, she raised her husband, she raised her brother, so she worked in the church, she worked in the kitchen. She did so many things well that when she couldn't do those things anymore, you start to go, okay, if you're not my mother, then what does that make me? How do I deal with that? And so I had a niece who works with dementia patients still, who I remember a day when my mother would not call me Tony. Like she literally would not say Tony. And she kept calling me Mama. And I couldn't get her to call me Tony. And I knew that if she couldn't call me Tony, then my mama was gone. Like, how do I deal with the fact that my mama's not my mama anymore? And I remember crying really, really hard about that. And in that crying, my mother was crying too. And she's like, well, I just want my mama. And I said, well, I just want my mama. And we hugged each other. And I had to learn. My niece talked me through it. She said, you are her mother. You're changing her diaper. You're feeding her. That you are loving her like a mama. Don't run from that. Don't think that's the worst thing in the world. You have the skills to do it. And I remember when I embraced that there's a new role for me because she's different, it just changed. It changed. And I started to love her as the new mother, the new Linda. And the next day, to tell you how life works, I cried through it. I talked to my niece. She talked me off the ledge. And the next morning, my mama comes in my room. She said, hey, Tony. I said, I'll be darned. And so it just taught me to roll with the punches. Everything is not gloom and doom, even as a caretaker. And my mama was just different. I had to learn to love the new Linda. And when I learned to love the new Linda, I chilled out a bit. And I became, I guess, the new Tony that I needed to be. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that was beautiful.
I talk about my mom all the time and don't cry.
It's okay, that was beautiful.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, that was a really hard day. A really hard day. What being an impact speaker and telling her story has allowed me to do is, again, reach out in the community and help others. The quilt that you see is a quilt for Alzheimer's. As a guild, the Acomo and Toso Modern Quilt Guild, one of the things that a guild will do is they'll do a charity quilt. And the charity quilt will go towards any, people do charity quilts for breast cancer awareness and MS. We chose to do it for Alzheimer's. It affects us a lot in our guild. And so we will get together. Every member will create some part of the quilt, and then we will raffle it off, and 100% of the proceeds will then go to Alzheimer's. As a member of a guild with 15 members and 14 out of 15 members have a family member or a friend who has died from Alzheimer's or are living with Alzheimer's, you start to see how it is affecting not just you personally, but the community of people that you love. And so members who are either related to me or members who have sisters living with Alzheimer's or members whose mom died from Alzheimer's, have you thinking about how you can help a community of people who are grieving and living with this disease. You know, one of the things they talk about is that Alzheimer's affects the entire family. And so because it affects the entire family, when you have a community, it affects the entire community. And so while I've lost my mom in 2019, what I call myself to do is to now advocate for my members to get services that I know exist out there. So that's my role now, is to act as an advocate for others.